Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon and happy Sundance. How is everybody doing? I need a little more. Thank you. Well, as the voice of God has mentioned, I'm Amy White. I lead the corporate social responsibility team at Adobe, and it is my great pleasure to be here in the Adobe house and to welcome all of you. Hopefully you've had a hot chocolate, you've made a beanie, you've done a thing. Adobe and Sundance are like peas in a pod. For years and years, over 15 years, we have had the great honor to support new and emerging voices in film and television, and to be at where it all starts, where independent film and next-gen storytellers come together to build networks, to create mentorship opportunities, to build skills, and have a lot of fun. So today is about having fun, and also skills. And so it is my good pleasure to welcome to this stage Amelia Dimoldenberg. After all that pricing. So we're going to have a great conversation today with Amelia, and we're thrilled to be joined by her, comedian, host, producer, and brilliantly awkward mind behind Chicken Shop Date. Amelia has built one of the most distinctive voices by doing things her own way. Do you think that's right? Your own way? All right. Bringing authenticity and humor to the screens everywhere. I know you're all taking these pictures of me. Thank you. Beyond your work, should we sit?
Sorry, am I meant to be? I feel like I didn't listen to any of the instructions that were told
I didn't
to me.
Either. Sorry,
I was
Gary.
like, you had a whole briefing in there, and then just like went out the window.
No. I think they want us to
okay,
sit.
hey everyone.
Okay. I'm going to finish the intro though.
Yeah, please.
It's very important.
We must hear it.
Beyond her on-camera work, she's the founder of Dimz Inc Academy, a program dedicated to opening doors for the next generation of underrepresented creators, which makes this conversation especially meaningful here at Sundance, which is very true, of course. Like Amelia, Adobe is committed to breaking down barriers to entry across the entertainment industry. And I'm very excited today to announce that as we extended the Adobe Film and Television Fund to award another $10 million this year, Dimz is now a grantee of Adobe. And so we are very, very excited to have a conversation just to learn more about it. But for those of you that are committed to telling your story and are here because you're inspired by Amelia or believe in the story that you have to tell, Adobe's here alongside you. So thank you for joining us, and welcome, Amelia.
Thank you so much for the great intro. Thanks everyone for coming down. I appreciate it. I know it's a very busy schedule everyone has, so thank you for coming.
I see many familiar faces too, so thank you for joining us. So we're going to get started. So Amelia and I were talking backstage in the green room that's not green.
It's not, is it? Are any green?
Not,
I don't
nor
think I've
are
ever
there
been in a green
walls,
room.
so it's not really a room.
Yeah.
But that's okay. No feedback. So this is your first Sundance.
Yes, it's my first Sundance.
And you flew in. You've had a whirlwind of maybe 36 hours.
Yeah, and who knew that I was carrying an oxygen canister around with me? Because the altitude, I did not know about this. I'm like really dizzy the whole time. Oh. Maybe I'm just incredibly weak as a human, but no, we're high up here. It's interesting.
It is.
I love it. I'm liking it.
You gotta have your lip balm. Do you need anything? I have something. You got hand cream.
I get some in the green room
water,
from you.
Anything you need.
Yeah.
So what are your reactions beyond that we're high in the sky?
Well, I've always wanted to come to Sundance, such a legendary film festival where, and in general, and there's so many incredible films that I love that premiered here. Little Miss Sunshine in particular is one of my favorite films ever. And it was just so exciting to get the opportunity to come out here and to talk about the work that we're doing together as well. And you know what? Snow never settles in London, so it's very cool to be out here and see snow in real life and not just on Frozen when I'm rewatching it a million times.
Does this look like snow? Are we okay that she's still...
I know that people are disappointed with the amount of snow, aren't they? Because normally there's more snow, but this is good enough snow for me. How are we going to be able to get anywhere if there was even more snow?
It's like a movie set then. Yeah, exactly. We don't need too much.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you'll have, I'm sure, opportunities for screenings and panels and the like, but I'm excited you're here, and first doesn't mean last, and off we go to Boulder. So one of the things I told my colleague Brycey, but also several of you who are on the Adobe team, I was like, I'm not actually funny enough to do this interview. But
no,
tell
not true.
me, no, it's true. Thank you for endorsing. My self-esteem feels really good. But you have a signature style, obviously. And as you think about how we support young people in building their career and their profile in the industry, what are some tips you might have either in interviewing or being the interviewee as they're breaking through?
Well, when I was younger, when I was at school, people would always refer to me as being awkward. And they would say, oh, you're so awkward, or you're like deadpan or sarcastic. I think a lot of people in the UK are actually really sarcastic, so maybe that's a British thing. And I feel like they always said it in a way that was like, they liked that about me, you know? That was like my my quirk, my uniqueness. And I think what I would always say is that everyone has their own uniqueness about them. They have their own quirk, whatever that is. And I really think you need to lean into it rather than like run away from it. And I think your friends and the people around you are people that are very perceptive to the person that you are in a way that you often don't know. So it's very hard for you to kind of, who am I? Like, what am I good at? And all these different things. Ask your friends. Your friends are going to know straight away, your good friends. They're going to be like, you're amazing at this. You're always talking about how much you love food, or like, you're this, you're really silly. And I found that really helpful as a way to understand myself. And then I kind of used that and I just kind of lent into that even more with my videos. You know, I said, okay, well, if everyone thinks I'm awkward, I'm just going to like be even more awkward. So that's how I kind of created my style. So I would just say, like, lean into your uniqueness and just stay at something, you know? Chicken Shop Date was like the opposite of an overnight success in a way, because I've been doing it for nearly like over 12 years now. And I would say kind of only started kicking off like in a big way, like in the last 5. And I just sort of believed in something and just carried on with it. So that would be my other advice to you, because you might have an idea of when you want something to take place, and it doesn't always happen, or rarely it happens in the time frame you wanted. But yeah.
Well, I think that authenticity, of course, is be yourself, is something that it's a little more than that.
I know, because I always want to say be yourself, but then I'm like, so I'm going to think of something else to say about be yourself.
I do think it's a good idea.
Like, who am I?
What am I good at and what am I bad at? If you're really my friend, you'll tell me.
Well, honestly.
Backstage, we had a few moments to talk about sort of where it all started. And I think, of course, lots of folks here know Chicken Shop Date, but I think where it really started is not a YouTube star. And so will you tell us a little bit about the idea of how your career started? Because it's not, I went to film school, I did this thing, and then this progression happened.
Well, Chicken Shop Date started in a youth club in northwest London, where I'm from. So after school, every Wednesday, I would go to this youth club, which is like, I don't know if you have youth clubs in America. It's like a community space where we would go every Wednesday and we would make a magazine. And that magazine was made specifically by people who were under 21. And it was run by these 2 amazing women, Nina and Nendi. And everyone there was really into UK rap and grime music. And I was into Katy Perry and maybe McFly, if anyone knows McFly. And that was like my first time I was like really like got into grime music when I was 16. And I really wanted to interview all of the musicians that everyone was listening to, and thought a great way to do that would be a date. And I'd also never been on a date before, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. And someone said, oh, you should go on a date where you would never take anyone on a date. No one would ever go on a date. And so that's how the chicken shop element happened. So it was a column in that youth run magazine, and it was great because I had like a proof of concept, which is something else I think is super important for anyone who wants to start their own ideas. Is you don't have to go full force with the big thing at the beginning. You know, I started this as a column in a magazine where I was interviewing friends of friends who had like 1 song on SoundCloud. Like, these were really small artists. And then it kind of grew from there. And I grew in confidence and thought, this is actually really awkward. Like, when we were doing the interview and I was recording it on my phone. And thought this would be great if it was filmed. And this is also when YouTube was like really kind of starting to become more and more popular, and video journalism as well. And so I just like had a like naive confidence that you do when you're young and you haven't done anything yet. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to go and film this video. And then that was, nearly 12 years ago. And I just carried on with it throughout uni and everything, and just did it. Well, now
as going from, it sounds like a print magazine that you were recording to filming it. Mm-hmm. It sounds like through your career, we've talked a lot about like the edit is so much a part of how Chicken Shop works.
Totally.
And that, when you're doing that, are you thinking as an editor, or are you thinking as an interviewer, or what's your angle as you're going into it? Are you already thinking about the cut to the case with the sodas in it, or how does it work?
Well, that was kind of an accident, actually, that we do the B-roll like that. But
My favorite part.
yeah, I know, it's so many people's favorite part. And the boss man, when we get him to stare down the barrel of the lens. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure everyone here is like creatives and making their own things, but I love the edit. The edit is like the best part, especially as like a control freak. Like once you have like all the footage and everything, it's very daunting, like filming and, you know, being the person on front of camera. And then as soon as I've wrapped and I'm like, I've got the footage and I'm sat with my editor, it's just, great. We can just piece it together and I just love it so much. But I'm thinking about the edit from the beginning. Like even when I'm developing questions, I'm thinking about the edit. I'm thinking, is the way that I'm phrasing this question going to cut well? Is this question going to warrant like a really long answer that's never going to work in the edit? And then when I'm sat opposite someone in an interview, even if it's a red carpet or a chicken shop day, I'm like, immediately I can tell, okay, this is not going to make it. Or wow, that's incredible. Like we're going to open with that. So I'm like definitely thinking of the edit while I'm in the thing. And that's kind of fun because your brain is like working loads. And I kind of like that. It gives me, I feel like buzzed from it. And then, yeah, I just love the edit. Loads. I think it's maybe my favorite part of the process.
Well, I think as we have a lot of editors in the room, so I think that idea of what story am I trying to tell, but how do I think about how I'm editing it even before I'm in the editing room. Have you found yourself like in the room making changes to what you thought you would do?
Totally. Like I spend so much time like flipping things around. So like we would never like a chronological date, for example, like never actually happens like that in the edit. Like I'm often moving things from the end of the interview to the beginning, you know, and I'm always looking for like a hook at the top. And I think this is kind of like an editing style that we didn't invent this, but like I feel like we like YouTubers actually, content creators, I think it's very different from traditional media in so many senses of it. But when you think about traditional media and the way that they set up, there's a lot of setup for things, right? Like here we are in this place and we're doing this thing. And that's fair enough. It's worked well for many years and people like that. But I think with YouTube, it's like we're in the action straight away. You know, there's no setup. We're in the date. It's happening. And I think that's what I love about what we do and what kind of makes it stand out in terms of content creators, because, you know, we're relying on the audience having some understanding already. And like we don't need to hold their hand through the whole way, you know? And I think when you are really clear with the visual identity of your show or whatever, you can just as soon as you see a frame of Chicken Shop Day, you like know it's Chicken Shop Day, and that's because we're very particular with the aesthetics of how we set up a shot and how we make it look consistent.
Do you eat chicken when you're there?
Obviously.
It's very important.
Some people think I'm a vegetarian. I think that's crazy.
I had a vision. There was going to be dips and chicken nuggets, but we scratched
really?
that.
Yeah. My team were probably like, she doesn't want it in front of her.
But I just wonder, as a fellow chicken shop lover, if you like after you wrap, if you're like having some tenders on the side.
When I'm filming, I actually lose my appetite because I have so much to think about, because I'm on a date with a famous celebrity and it can be a very nerve-wracking. So I feel like...
They eat? Do you eat?
It's always... Okay, people in the comments, then like one of the comments I really love is like, you know it's going to be a good date when they eat, which is true. When the guest eats, it's going to be a good episode. But yeah, and we have room for everyone. We have had vegans on the show. We just give them chips, fries. Sorry. But yeah, I love chicken. So that's an exclusive.
Same.
Everyone.
Same. Well, so today we're here for many reasons, and hopefully we'll continue the conversation. But one of the things I think it sounds like you are most proud of in your career is how you have established Dimz Inc Academy, and really starting from your story of having this youth space to explore your own creativity and tell a story from a different angle. So will you just tell us a little bit about how you have taken all of these ideas you've had and how you're funneling them back into Dimz?
Well, yeah, I guess as I spoke a bit about like my journey into what I do now, and as it started as Chicken Shop Day is a product of youth services, and in the UK, you know, those were really cut vastly when the Conservative government came in, and now the youth club that I went to no longer exists. The magazine doesn't exist. Like, funding has just been cut left, right, and centre, and it was so pivotal to me, and I was someone who didn't even need the services in the way that the other young people did. And so for my whole journey, I've always known that a dream would be to create a space that was similar to what I benefited from and my friends benefited from for other young people And so last year we did the first Dimz Inc Academy, which was a week-long summer school for young people from backgrounds where they wouldn't have access to the creative industries, underrepresented backgrounds, global majority backgrounds as well. And it was a week long, and we were able to give people workshops, mentoring, and learn skills in camera work, in editing. And what was really important to me was I wanted, after that week, for the young people to come away with a portfolio piece, because that's what I had with the magazine. You know, I had an actual physical thing that I could show for myself that made me able to get internships, help with my university application, and regardless of that as well, just like knowing that you could make something from end to end, you know, you had an idea and then it could actually become a reality is so empowering for young people. So we were able to, every young person on the program ended up making in groups like their own digital format. So that was really cool. And then we showed those in an exhibition that I had to celebrate 10 years of Chicken Shop Day. But with Adobe support this year, we're going to be able to do a 4-week program over summer. And there's loads of learnings I've had from last year, and there's still a long way to go to know how we can best support young people and what we can continue to do. But definitely having it over like 4 weeks over summer is going to be more impactful than one, because people get to know each other more. They can like do even more work, they can have more mentoring, and they can be also occupied for summer. And as a young person, summer is often quite a challenging time because you're out of education, you know, you're out, it's just, it's good to have something to do. So yeah, that's kind of the short story.
Well, one of the things I thought was interesting that you shared is your idea about instead of scale, because I think a lot of times, particularly in youth programs, it's like, how do we reach 10,000? How do we reach 1 million? 30 million? And so tell me a little bit about your idea about depth versus breadth.
Yeah, depth versus breadth is something that I realized after doing the first week, because I was asked by some of the people that I was running the program with, Spiral Skills. They're a charity whose their bread and butter is to reach out to young people who would like to work in the creative industries and get them the skills that they need to do so. And they said, yeah, what's important to you? And I really want to create meaningful impact to maybe a smaller cohort of people, you know, but be able to be with them for like a longer journey. I think that's what I would love to do with the Dimz Inc Academy, rather than trying to have touch points with like thousands of people. But then through the support with Adobe, we're also going to be doing like a few networking events, because I think that's also important too, like to have a balance. But the summer school, yeah, it's only going to be around 20 people, but hopefully we can really support them throughout their careers as well.
Yeah, well, I think something that really resonated with me that I know some of you in the room we've talked about in the Film Fund is one of the ways we've invested is in that proof of concept, and that giving folks something to walk away with can be a game changer, whether it's a short film or it's a magazine. And so I think that depth that can happen over time is something that we've seen a lot of success in. So we're excited to see how it grows this summer.
Yeah, because it just like providing people with the space and the support they need, because everyone has incredible, like as a creative, you always have so many amazing ideas. But the hard part is actually going out and making that a reality. And there's so many things, barriers to entry, so many different things that make that not possible. And so to provide a physical space and support and with like mentors, like that is what I found was so rewarding with the young people, because they just thought, oh wait, I can actually do it. I just needed the time and the resources. And it's like, yeah, you've got amazing ideas. So I want that Dimz Inc Academy to be that space, that framework that people can make their ideas into reality and then just build from there.
Absolutely. Well, as you've spent time building out the program work, but also just in your day-to-day, when you think about the next gen or younger creators, what do you think is the most valuable thing that we should be supporting them or giving them? What do they need most right now?
Well, I just think that the world is not a fair place, and there's the playing field is not level. So you can be super talented, you can be super smart, you can have all these ideas, and then you go out into the world and you're like, okay, well, these are all these barriers that are up against me because of my race, because of my class, because of my gender, my sexuality, all of these different things. And so I think that there needs to be support from corporations, from across the board, to try and level that playing field. And that's kind of what I would like to do with my platform and my own privilege, to try and help do that, because I think that is an important thing for me to do with my time.
Absolutely. Well, we hope to be your partner in that. And
exactly.
I think that creating spaces like this, creating spaces like the Academy are absolutely doing those. And so, well, sort of switching gears a little bit, as your career continues to grow and blossom, and you think about collaborators, not just folks that you're interviewing, but people you're working creatively with, what are some of the things that inspire you right now? If you were going to partner up with a new editor or writer, or what are things that you might be looking for?
Ooh, if I was collaborating with other people, I just like people that are passionate and principled. I think maybe it's just something that I feel like I connect with myself, someone who just really believes in their idea. And even if you don't agree with them, they have their reasons why they would fight you on it. I'd rather someone would argue with me on why they think something is great than just to agree with everything that I said. I think that kind of you can create respect for someone in that way. And I also think going above and beyond is something that everyone in my team does. And I think that's because it comes from this place of they believe and they're passionate in what we do. We would never do something unless it felt meaningful in whatever way. And we would never do something just, it's always creative first. And I've always said I kind of feel like I'm allergic to being generic in any way. And so if something feels like, oh, someone else could do that, or it's been done before, I'd rather try and problem solve a way to try and make it my own. So yeah, I'm interested in that kind of viewpoint from other creatives. But it's also nice for me I need to probably learn myself to step back a bit and let other people bring things towards me. I think when you start off as a creator, you're doing everything for yourself, and that's amazing. But then I think at the other end of it, it fosters this belief that you have to do everything yourself. And actually, you don't grow that way. That's not how you build a team or build a brand, is not by you controlling everything. And that's a lesson that I think a lot of creators, and myself included, have had to learn along the way, is relinquishing control and delegating and those kinds of things. And picking creative partners is a great way to do that, because you need to put your trust in someone else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, sort of in the same lines as you put trust in someone else, or you think about mentorship for the folks in the Academy, who are some of the folks that were really formative to you when you were up and coming in your career and the trajectory you're on?
Well, Nina Mandahar, from who I mentioned, from The Cut magazine, where I started. Well, it's actually called The Cut magazine, but it's not The Cut magazine from New York. It just randomly was called The Cut magazine. Anyway, she was incredibly formative, obviously, in creating that space, and also being a sounding board. There were I did an internship at Vice magazine, and the editors and the journalists that I met at Vice were really helpful in kind of shaping my idea of what journalism could be, with a kind of edge, and just being able to be there in the office and writing and making short documentaries was really impactful to me. And then Sean Evans has actually always been a great supporter of mine, and also someone that I've always found just loved meeting up with for a coffee, just to talk about what he does and what I do. And we have so many similarities in our approach, and it's always nice to connect with people that do something similar to you as well. I have great conversations with Z-Way as well, and Kareem from Subway Takes. Those people, it's just nice to kind of be did this happen to you? This happened to me? Because being a creator and being a creative often can be quite lonely, actually, because again, you're doing things on your own, and especially when you're leading the team, you can feel a bit isolated sometimes. So it's really nice to have those moments where you can connect with people that do something similar.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that idea of the further you go, the kind of lonelier it gets.
It's lonely at the top.
Lonely at the top with the chicken shop top. So a few more things, just as we have a lot of emerging creators in this room, and that's really the Adobe House at Sundance is about helping people make these connections, find their next mentor, the next person that might help just push that door open a little tiny bit. What's one thing you wish someone would have done for you as you were coming out of this youth program and kind of getting your start?
Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like I'm so happy with the journey, even though it wasn't in the time frame I wanted to. Like, there's nothing I would really change, but this is like a really specific thing, but I found like I produced everything myself for so long, and I found the production element of what I did really hard. And no one taught me how to produce stuff or how, like, the intricacies of production. And I've always found, like, once I was able to work with certain producers, a weight really lifted. And I think that goes back to what I said before about, like, not having to do everything yourself. Like, there are so many people around you that you might meet at places like this, or if within education or at networking things, where, you know, everyone's got an interest in something different and you could collaborate with them. I would say, like, you should lean on your friends. That's what I did, and your community around you, so that you don't have to be doing literally every single piece of the puzzle. Like, doesn't have to be yours to solve. So yeah, I don't know if that's something I would like have wished I had. Yeah, I just maybe wish someone told me that I didn't have to produce everything myself. But then at the same time, I'm better for it because now I know how everything works. So I don't know. So,
do it all and then give it away.
Do it all and then tell other people to do it.
Delegate it.
Actually, yeah.
Those are wise.
I love
words.
Knowing about every single part of the process. I think it's super valuable. And like, I'm actually now in the process of like working in other elements of traditional media in like movies and things where I don't know how anything works. And I'm finding it challenging because I'm someone who's come from this creative background where you kind of know how it all works and it all seems quite easy for you to grasp, and there's not as many gatekeepers. So, and that's the beauty of it. So I would say it's a privilege to know how everything works, but then you just have to let go of it too.
I mean, we have joked over the years about like being a multi-hyphenate is a blessing and a curse, right? As you knowing how to do everything then means you could do it, but you don't want to do it. But I think it also probably makes you a better editor, a better storyteller, etc.
Just constantly thinking
about how to make it better.
Sometimes I think I'm like,
do you judge other people because they're not doing it right? Just kidding. No, present company excluded, of course. As an interviewer,
it's tough being a creative. Like, not tough, but like the reason it's tough is like because you're always thinking all the time. Sometimes I think, oh, wouldn't it be easy if I watched a movie and I didn't think I want to make that? I would just think that's nice movie. But no, I'm like, I want to do it. I need to do it now. But that's just also the great thing about having a creative mind is the same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, of course, part of making sure that every story has a chance to get told is really why Adobe is here at Sundance, and making sure that folks who aren't always represented in the industry have a moment to shine. And so I'm curious, as you think about where your career is going and what passion project or idea is, where is there still sort of, what formats do you think are still massively underrepresented, and how we create more access to opportunity? You talked about leveling the playing field, but where specifically are you kind of got your eyes focused on?
Do you mean in formats in what way? Like,
is it film? Is it online? Is it like, are you thinking about, as you're leveling the playing field, in what part of the broader creative industry?
Well, I guess at the moment it's within digital media. And the amazing thing about the internet is that everyone with the access to it, you know, you can upload if you wanted on YouTube, you could upload to Instagram, all of these different places, but then you still, the algorithm is still not within your favor. And so I think it's about giving people the support they need to be consistent with their, even with their uploads. Like, I think consistency is such a big thing, and often like there are so many different reasons why you can't be consistent with your creativity because you don't have the money to be consistent. There's other things you're doing, or you've had someone say something that was like incredibly terrible and it's kind of knocked your confidence. So I think being able to support people with consistency is something that I'm really keen on doing, because I think that's one way it can help. But there are so many things that need to be fixed, aren't there? So I think I'm going to focus in on that thing and hope that does something.
Absolutely. Well, Sundance was on your bucket list, as I understand. And
Definitely.
so
Make
as
my
we
way
wrap
to the-
up, you've done it. We've checked. It's not very often you get to be with someone to check their bucket list off. What's next? What's the next thing on the bucket list we're going to go after?
Oh, in general?
Sure.
I want to fall in love. So that's on my bucket list.
It's a very interesting room of people.
I know, guys, I know. So watch out.
Chicken. It's got to have chicken.
Yeah, and then I also want to make my movie. I want to make my TV show. I want to world domination. It's happening.
Global equity. All
All of those things.
Small.
And I'm really I'm so excited for this summer with the Dimz Inc Academy and like what we can do with Adobe because like it's just great. I'm just so happy to be able to be doing that and using my platform in that way. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Amelia, for both the time, for your leadership on the Academy, and also just bringing a lot of joy to the world.
Yeah, thank you.
And so thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.